whether you have a bed or not. Personally, I think that the Avenger Titan is the superior ship to the Mako for a starter ship. And they're at about the same price. So of the two, that's the one that I would recommend. However, if you're looking at this ship and you're just like, holy cow, I love how wacky and cool this thing looks, especially when we take it out and we start doing the transformations. If you just fall in love with it, by all means, yeah, go for it. It's a cool ship. The Tana has a very, very small amount of cargo space. You can use it for box missions and stuff like that. The Mako has an okay amount of cargo space for a starter ship. It bills itself as a light freighter, but it's really more of an all-purpose vessel that happens to carry a little bit of freight.
Yeah. And then in this room, we've got the Freelancer series. So we've got the Freelancer Classic, which has 66 SCU of cargo, I want to say.
The Freelancer Max?
No, just the normal Freelancer.
The normal Freelancer. Yeah, I think it's got like 60 SCU of cargo space.
Okay, and the Max is double that.
Yeah, the Max is an enormous amount of cargo space.
Yeah, so I used to have a Max until this morning. I no longer have a Max because I traded it in for something.
Cool. What did you trade it in for, man?
I don't want to give it away yet.
All right. All right, you're going to leave us in suspense on that one.
Yeah, I am. I'm going to leave you in some suspense. It is not available in game, so that somewhat narrows it down to about half of the options.
Yeah. Yeah, well, probably about a third to 40%.
I am realizing now, though, I have never actually seen a Freelancer DUR in person.
Yeah, it's the exploration version. The cool thing about the Freelancer DUR is that it has the endurance for really long runs in space. It can make fuel for itself.
Okay.
It's supposed to be able to make fuel for itself. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work, whether it just like processes hydrogen in the atmosphere for hydrogen fuel, and you need to pick up quantum fuel somewhere else, or if you can purchase quantanium and it'll turn that into fuel, or find some raw quantanium and it'll turn that into quantum fuel. I don't know. But the promise is that it'll be able to make its own fuel for long trips, and that's really not worth anything right now and not fully implemented.
Yeah. It is a weird looking ship too.
It is.
It kind of looks like I don't want to be too mean because I know someone probably spent a lot of time designing this, but it kind of looks like the ships I would design as like a 10-year-old, where it's like more engines, more better.
Yeah. It's got fuel tanks, it's got engines, there's a pickle where you can, where it's got beds inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's see, this one over here, this one's got to be the Mist, right? This is our missile boat.
Yeah, that's our
missile.
missile.
The cool thing about this one is huge amount of missiles.
Okay. I am live as well, by the way. The missile, the Freelancer Miss just swaps out some of the cargo space for a ton more missiles. And so it's a missile boat. Which, I mean, missiles are not really all that powerful right now compared to what they could be. So it's far, far, far from being the meta fighter. But it is kind of a fun ship to go out and blow stuff up in.
Yeah. And you definitely run into them quite often in the bounty hunting missions.
Yeah.
And they do take a punch.
Yep. It's a fairly tanky ship. It's and the Freelancer Miss is probably a bit more maneuverable than the other Freelancers. I hope it is, because they really do suffer in the maneuverability department.
Yeah. Let's see. All right, I've got the downstairs to check out still, and then we'll move on to the RSI hall.
All right.
I caught myself looking for the auroras, and then I realized, oh nope, I'm not there yet.
Yeah. So that's probably you're probably in the Zenith Hall.
Yeah. And the Razor is kind of an interesting thing for me because you see all these MISC ships, bulbous, curvy,
Yep.
and then you have the MISC Razor, and it does not at all look like those ships.
Nope. They got a different design guy that day.
Yeah. It's like they hired someone from Ferrari, and he was drawing this in the background without anyone knowing, and he turns it into the boss, and the boss happens to like it, so they make it, and it just does not look at all like anything else that they make.
Yeah.
But the Razor is a very nimble racing interceptor racing ship.
Stealth
You
ship.
can use it for some light combat, but you're going to be prioritizing your agility and speed over your durability.
Yeah, it is a racer, and if you want to turn that racer into an interceptor or a fighter ship, you can do that. It's an extremely light fighter. It is extremely agile. If you love being the best pilot in the world and getting behind your enemies and just evading all of their shots, it's pretty good at all of that. If you love being in a fighter ship and taking a few hits while trading bigger hits and blowing them up first that way, you're going to be disappointed. It does not do that.
Yeah. Here we've got the Endeavor, which is still a long ways down the pipeline.
Mm-hmm.
But it is marketed as a very highly modular ship. So you can just slap things in and out of the side. It can be turned into a refinery. It can be turned into a hospital, cargo carrier, passenger carrier. It can do everything.
Kind of a missed competition for the Galaxy, I guess, right?
In a way, it probably does have more immediate utility compared to something like the RSI Galaxy because it can accept multiple modules at once.
Yeah, it's a bigger ship.
But it is a much bigger ship, and with that comes its own downsides, right?
Yeah.
Here we've got, I want to say this is the Expanse, right? Yes.
Yes.
So this is a dedicated refinery ship. So these are the same saddlebags you'd see on a prospector, and that should give you some sense of scale. The idea with this one is this will enable you to go deeper into space, have a bunch of prospectors deliver their cargo to this, and then you can do some quantanium mining without so much of a time crunch to get back to a station. This can also help you simplify your direct-to-consumer pipeline so that you can maximize profits. If you're doing the refinery process, you don't have to pay a refinery to do it. So pretty interesting ship. Still a long ways out, unfortunately.
Yep.
Genesis Starliner, which is a big plane in space.
Yeah.
Or no, sorry, MISC Odyssey. Totally wrong.
Oh.
Oops.
The Odyssey.
Survey distant frontiers and explore the furthest reaches of space with the MISC Odyssey, the most advanced and complete exploration ship available to civilians. Designed to be supremely self-sufficient, the Odyssey comes with an onboard refinery with built-in mining tech, expansive capacity for supplies, and a hangar capable of housing a small ship, along with comprehensive, comfortable accommodations for a crew of 7. So, deep space exploration. To go further than no man has gone before, and where there are no gas stations.
Yep, absolutely.
And let's see. here we have a nice look at the Hull C. This is 2 steps up from the Hull A that we saw upstairs.
And it's not even close to the biggest of all of the hulls.
No, and that's the thing. Like, you look at this and it looks big.
It is
but,
big.
It'll be small compared to the Hull E.
Yeah, I think this one will probably be a competitor to the C2. Maybe have a bit more cargo space than the C2, but probably not that much different. Or the Caterpillar.
Yeah. And there's quite a few trade-offs with flying something in the Hull series. You are a dedicated cargo ship, and with that comes some inherent added efficiency for doing cargo ready. But the trade-off is you are significantly more exposed, and you can imagine how once we have things like tractor beams in-game where you can just steal packages off of a ship, these things are going to be pirate targets galore.
On the other hand, if a pirate targets you, they might just shoot off a bunch of cargo and leave the rest of your ship alone, because they can't possibly hope to pocket all of that cargo.
There you go.
Unless they're in a really big ship themselves. But, you know, if there's just like a couple of cutlasses or something picking up some cargo, they're going to take off maybe one of those wings, but they're not going to take all of it. They can't.
So it has the same defense strategy as a sea cucumber, is what
Yes.
we're saying.
Go ahead and take your bites. Just leave me the rest.
Yeah. Alright, let's see. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything, but I think that is everything for the MISC Hall. Yep. Alright, on to the really cool ships. RSI.
Yeah. The Reliant is fun. We gotta at least show people the Reliant.
Well, I showed them the Reliant. I can pull it out.
Yeah, you gotta pull it out to do the transformation. You can't do a transformation in that hull.
Yeah. Well, once we got all the ships rented, I'll give the Reliant its time in the sun. Let's see. My character is thirsty.
All right.
My character is more talented at drinking water and walking than I am in real life. Let's see. Let's see. What's the hotkey to drop something?
What, you're just gonna litter?
I can't. I usually try and put it in the trash can, but lately it hasn't been working out for me.
Oh.
Let's see.
All right.
All aboard. Apex Hall.
Apex Hall. I'm wearing clothes today.
Yeah, I see that. I'm happy you're wearing clothes.
I mean, not a flight suit. Yeah.
Ah, okay. Thank you for clarifying.
All right, constellations here in the main hall with the Mantis and the Scorpius.
Yes. So I think anyone who knows anything about Star System has probably seen pictures of the constellation. I think this is the ship that gets a lot of us hooked on the game.
It is a cool looking ship.
It comes in 4 flavors. You got the Taurus, which is a cargo variant, the Phoenix, which is a luxury variant, the Andromeda, which is an explorer, and the Aquila. No, sorry, I think I got that wrong. The Andromeda is this one, this angular one, and it is more combat oriented.
The
Where the Aquila is exploration.
I think so. Yeah.
Out of all of them, the cockpit you'll notice is the same on all of them except the Aquila. The Aquila has arguably the best cockpit because it doesn't have some obstructive bars that we'll be looking at in a minute. Let's see, I want to hop on the Taurus. The Taurus is a little different in its frame compared to the other ones. It gets a little longer in order to grant it the increased cargo capacity that it has. And its cargo bed, like on the other constellations, drops down to the floor, which I think is kind of cool. It makes loading vehicles onto this a little easier than it otherwise would be. Let's see. There we go. Close cargo bay.
Okay.
And when we were checking out the Kruger Intergalactic stump fighters, those mate with the Constellation series in a compartment here in the back. I don't know which one is the one that doesn't have one. It might be the Taurus.
I think
Yes.
it might be the Taurus.
Yeah, so the Taurus has additional cargo back here.
Oh. Cargo
We'll
group.
see on the other ones that we look at, you can put a stump fighter in it. For not being a missile boat, Constellations have lots and lots of missiles.
Yeah, they've got tons of missiles. I think they've got like 48 or something. It's quite a few.
It's really kind of insane. Okay, so if I get in the pilot seat, we can see the biggest sin about the Constellation design, and that is these two horizontal bars right in your view. You can see my reticle's just barely sitting underneath the bar, so you can imagine anything you're targeting suddenly becomes very hard to actually see. And the Aquila is slightly better, but unfortunately not by much. Now if we go back down, the Andromeda will be largely the same as the Taurus, at least the front section. The part that will be different is the back section will have that snub fighter. Let's see. Oh my gosh. I've got this, I've got the bottle in my hand, so I can't open my Mobi-Glass. I really need to know how to drop things now. Drop item. Oh, it's not bound to anything. Let's bind it to P? No, not P. Apostrophe. Right. Dang it. Okay, that's not working.
You can't use a personal inner thought?
Let's try that. There. Yeah, it's the only option I get is inspect.
Huh. That's weird.
Oh, here we go. Inventory menu. Save the day. All right, let's try that one more time. the Taurus. There we go. Alright. So, we gotta check out the Phoenix. The Phoenix is the most unique of the Constellation series.
Yes.
The Phoenix is the luxury variant.
And I recommend getting back out here on the outside. Oh no, you're already in the ship. Because
I'm already in it.
you can see the snub fighter really clearly from outside. It's got the Archimedes by default. The others have the Merlin.
Okay. Yeah, I will for sure take a look at that. So the front half of the ship is all of your functional parts. So you've got your pilots, your gunners, habitations for them. So when you step further back, suddenly things take on a different tone. We have our first hab here on the side. You can see it's a lot more cozy with much softer looking blankets and a fish tank. And then we have a couple seats, which I can only imagine have built-in massage functions on them. Cool little glass table. And if you watch any of the ISC episodes or Inside Star Citizen, you should recognize this bar because it is Jared's new studio for recording. It does have a hot tub in theory, but it is not yet implemented. The open button does not actually open the hot tub. And hot tubs in space are kind of an interesting concept. I know we saw them before on things like the 890 and other luxury ships, but keeping water from sloshing around is a really complex artificial gravity problem. Here we've got the captain's quarters, which is big enough for two, or presumably his significant other. It is obscured from one side, so it's kind of one-way glass, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't know if that's actually the captain's quarters or if it's supposed to be like a VIP quarters, but because there's like 4 beds in the crew area. I guess maybe it is the captain's quarters and there's an attendant, a spot for an attendant in the crew quarters. I don't know.
Okay. If we move further back, we can see the top of the Archimedes.
And you can enter it, but you can't undock with this one.
No, they won't let you get away with that. As much fun as that would be, this ship is actually small enough that you could actually do some maneuvers in this big Expo hall. And let's see. Okay, you've got
the hole in the floor.
Yep. All right, we're taking the direct route.
Yeah.
It does have a cargo hold. It's stripped down compared to the other constellations because it does have the luxury floor just above us, but it can still carry some cargo.
Let's see, where is the... There it is. Open cargo bay.
Yes.
So you can still put in small vehicles as long as they're not too tall.
Yeah. I don't think the Ursa rover will fit at that point, right?
Yeah, I doubt it. I think that would be too tall.
So, like Vader was saying earlier before, you can see the Archimedes very clearly here.
Yeah.
It's just kind of stuck to the bottom of the ship. But I think the integration that it has is a really cool feature and a huge selling point for a constellation. Moving on to, let's check out the other Connie series. We'll check out the inside of the Aquila, if only to show off the cockpit.
And notice
the Andromeda, nothing's too different about that, so I think we might just skip that one.
Yeah, the Andromeda's basically got the same thing as the Taurus inside. And this has a Merlin instead of an Archimedes on the inside.
Oh, sorry.
No.
I couldn't see it. With the desync and everything, I'm having a hard time keeping track of you.
Yeah, that's fine. We got desync. I do like this airlock elevator.
Yeah, it makes sense because you don't want to depressurize the cabin every time you open the elevator.
Uh-huh.
So you can see the bars are slightly improved on the Aquila, but really not by much. You still have this bar that goes right across the reticle. So I think the Constellation is probably due for a future redesign at some point. I hope that is something that they consider changing, because that would be a huge quality of life change to all the Constellation owners out there. And their newer designs for the RSI ships would seem to suggest that it's also not a necessary component to have those bars there. Oh, got caught by the ladder. Alright. Let's see. Make sure I rent the Andromeda.
Now the Constellations, they're all gunships. Even the Phoenix, which is the least gunshipy of them all, it's still a pretty serviceable gunship. It's
I
got.
want to say there's size 5s. Is that right?
I don't remember if they're size 5s or gimbaled size 4s by default, but it's got 4 big energy weapons, energy repeaters. And you can do a lot of damage. You can destroy a lot of bad guys in one pass with those repeaters.
And then in addition to that, it does have a turret top and bottom.
Yeah, a top and bottom
It has
front turret.
really nice coverage.
The coverage is so-so. It could be a lot better if the turrets were further back, but then they'd have to be in the middle of the cargo space, and that would take up cargo space. So they're not going to do that.
And I do think probably one of the biggest challenges with being a Connie pilot is actually the landing. It's very front heavy, and if you're not throttling up or pitching up when you land, you're going to bury the nose just about every time.
Yeah. So I've rented the Mantis. I've rented the Scorpius.
The Mantis is a pretty cool ship. This is a quantum interdictor ship, so this can pull ships out of quantum, which is a very unique function. No other ship can do it.
No, there's one other ship.
Oh, there is?
The Cutlass Blue.
Oh, that's right.
Cutlass Blue can do the same thing. But those are the only two.
Compared to the other RSI ships that we've been looking at so far, the RSI Mantis has excellent visibility. Almost no obstructions and very nice viewport, top and bottom. The glass on this is nearly perfect.
Yeah, they fired whoever did the struts for this ship.
Yeah. You do have a bed. You can imagine you're going to be waiting a lot, probably, if you're just sitting along hyperspace lanes doing your piracy, though they market this more to law enforcement. You could also use it for more nefarious means. So you've got a bed to pass the time.
And not much else.
And yeah, not much else. Looks like it comes with FL-33 cannons by default. They're either the 22s or the 33s. Not sure.
That looks like a 33. That looks like it's
Yeah.
a size 3 gun, doesn't it?
Yeah. And then, last but not least on this floor, my favorite fighter, the RSI Scorpius, which I don't need to bother renting because I own one.
Yeah.
So, comes default with 4 size 2 gimbaled repeaters. You can trade those out for 4 fixed size 3 guns, which gives you the same firepower as a saber, with the addition of a turret on top. And being that it is a turret, can deal significantly more DPS because of its capacitor size.
Right, and that's another saber.
Yeah. So it's pretty insane.
Right.
Basically a hammerhead turret on top of a saber.
Kinda, yeah.
And its hat trick is it does an amazing transformation into an X-Wing. If you've been watching any of my videos for any length of time, you will have seen that many, many times. Every time I pull this thing out, I just ogle at that transformation. It is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, it's hard to beat the X-Wing.
Oh yeah. And then we've got the bottom floor.
Even if they had to file off some of the serial numbers that said X-Wing.
Well, and they have a orange and white paint job that you can get for the Scorpius.
Yeah.
Which is about as close as you can get to Luke Skywalker's Red 5 without getting sued.
Yep.
And it's
I'm sure that's what the intention was, and it does it great.
Yes. Ursa Rover, one of the first ground vehicles to be implemented. This is a 6-wheeled rover for science, and also it's pretty well defended for a vehicle this size. Unfortunately, ground vehicles are kind of a tough selling point at the moment because there's not a whole lot of utility to ground vehicles at the moment. But
Yep.
these are great for storming a bunker and doing some mercenary missions that way. These will get you in close so that you can not take all the turret fire in your ship.
Yeah, and you could probably blow up the turrets with one of these so that whoever's with you can land close by and pick you up.
Nothing on this side. So then if we go to the hologram room.
Yeah. We've got the Apollo triage on this side.
So, hospital ship. And this will be helping you get back up and running on a biological level.
Mm-hmm.
The legendary Apollo triage from Robert Space Industries is the gold standard in medevac and rapid emergency response vehicles. Updated to support regeneration technology, the Apollo has a long history providing critical aid to the Empire and beyond for well over 2 centuries. So as we know from current medical gameplay, not every bed is created equal, and you will need a tier 1 bed for doing regeneration and healing all the more serious injuries. The Apollo can handle that.
And I believe that's going to be the smallest ship that has a such a high tier bed.
Yeah, and that's really the big selling point. Is this is a dedicated medical ship. With that, it comes with a few perks that you can't get in anything else this size.
Yep. It is specifically a medevac.
Yeah. So if your body's seen better days, the Apollo can fix you up.
And once that gets in, I'm sure it'll be a favorite of a lot of people who like to do bunker runs.
Oh yeah. Oh for sure. And this is the
Polaris.
Don't tell me. Oh, I was gonna guess.
Oh.
I was gonna guess Polaris. Torpedo boat, right?
Yes.
The Polaris is a nimble Corvette-class capital ship that packs a powerful punch with a full armament of turrets and torpedoes intended for use as both a naval patrol ship and to serve as the flagship of militia operations. Polaris has the capacity to perform search and rescue operations, light strike missions, and general security patrols. Polaris includes the facilities to repair, rearm, and refuel a single fighter, light bomber, or support ship.
Yeah, so it has anti-fighter turrets. It's got tons of torpedoes. It's got um, it's got room for one support ship that it or one fighter ship that it can support. It's supposed to be like a small time flagship, sort of an all around does everything you'd want a small warship to do kind of warship. Doesn't need a large supporting fleet, but it can do well with supporting fighters, stuff like that.
Yeah. So pretty cool ship. Still quite a ways out. Over here we do have. Let's see. I don't want to show that one just yet. So over here we've got the Perseus.
Yeah.
And if the Polaris is a torpedo boat, the Perseus is a gunboat.
Yes.
So it kind of takes a different approach to warfighting. You can see that massive manned turret on the front there. It's got, likewise, other turrets around its hull. And I believe this one is meant for ramming as well.
Yeah.
When RSI set out to make the definitive modern statement in persuasive prevention, that's an interesting way of saying warfighting.
Yeah.
They looked into their own past to the historic gunships designated Perseus. Capable of shredding sub-capital class Goliaths, the mere presence of a Perseus gunship in a blockade or patrol squad is enough to make your most aggressive enemies think twice before engaging, just like its vintage namesake.
Yeah. Now the Perseus is intended to take on larger ships than itself, or assist in taking down larger ships than itself. So it's really best in a fleet. You're not going to be, taking down fighters with those size 7 cannons. You're not even going to be able to point them at a fighter. But
yeah, you can imagine that turret's going to take quite a while to actually rotate around towards its target.
But anything that's like a C2 size or larger is not going to have a good time if it tries to stand up to that kind of firepower.
Yeah.
And I imagine that a fight between this and an Idris would be a lot of fun to watch.
Oh yeah. Can hardly wait. Once that thing gets in game, we're going to see all kinds of fleet battles popping up.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, speaking about fleets, we do have a new addition to the Odd Job Entertainment fleet, and that is a RSI Galaxy.
Nice.
Yeah. So Schlag was nice enough to take some time out of his day to help me do the upgrade all the way up to this Drake Cutter to an RSI Galaxy.
Very nice.
And not as warfighting dedicated as the other ships we just looked at.
No.
But what this excels in is modularity.
Huh.
And it's interesting because people were talking about this as being a Carrack killer. I don't think that that's quite accurate. The Carrack killer, the Carrack is a ship that can do a little bit of everything. And because it can do a little bit of everything it does, it makes it a very powerful ship overall.
Yeah, a pretty fair amount of everything, really.
Yeah. I mean, it has large cargo capacity. It does have a medical bay, which can handle regeneration at the moment. It has drones. It can do, just a little bit of everything.
And it's meant for extreme long distance exploration, right? And when you're out, far from civilization, you're going to need some place to do your medical work on yourself. You're going to need a lot of supplies for a journey like that. So it's going to need to hold a lot of cargo. You might get threatened, so you need lots of guns. So it needs to be able to do everything pretty competently.
Yeah. And in the same vein, the Galaxy can't do everything at the same time, but it can do those individual components better than the Carrack can. So I don't think it's a Carrack killer. I don't think that they're necessarily competing for the same space.
Yeah.
But what the Galaxy can be is it can be an amazing hospital ship. It has a med bay module with a tier 1 bed, 2 tier 2 beds, and 3 tier 3 beds.
Oh.
So 6 total. So this would be a great ship to have on the back lines of a fleet, repairing your soldiers, getting them back into fighting form.
Yeah.
It can also have a cargo module that will add an additional 512 SCU on top of its 64, bringing it up to 576 SCU of cargo, which is about 100 more than the Carrack. So it does do cargo capacity better than the Carrack.
Right.
And it can also be a refinery.
Cool.
And it's a little confusing, the refinery. It's either a third of an expanse or 2 expanses, depending on how you interpret the information. It has 2 separate refinery pipelines, and we don't know if that means that it's 2 expanses or 2 of the 6 lines that the expanse has.
Right.
So we do need a little bit more clarification there, but considering that the Carrack can't do that, it does have that advantage over the Carrack as well. But again, it can't do all of those at the same time. You're going to have to prepare ahead of time for your mission before setting out.
So as long as you have a base to come back to, it can do any one thing better than the Carrack can do that thing, just about.
Exactly. You're not going to be going into the far reaches of space like the Carrack, but as long as you have the support, you can do great things in a galaxy.
Some more
And the other advantage that it does have is it seems like it has a slightly larger hangar compared to the Carrack. It's listed as an XS, which should be able to carry, if the older documents that we have to go off of are still relevant, it should be able to carry something like a prospector, which is a really interesting value proposition when you consider that refinery module.
Yeah. Yeah, if it can carry a prospector and have a refinery module that can hold 1 prospector's worth, that could be really pretty cool.
That would be a very interesting money-making chain.
Yeah.
On the flip side, if it can carry a prospector, it may be able to carry a Scorpius.
Yes. Because I think a Scorpius is pretty close to the same size as a prospector.
And so if you had the medical bay on this and a Scorpius, suddenly you have turned your hospital ship into a warfighter.
Yeah. Yep.
And the cargo bay does have built-in tractor beams. So once those are implemented, this should have an advantage over ships that do not have tractor beams in being able to load faster.
In that case, it seems like it would be a pretty good pirate vessel. Because if you could carry a fighter like the Scorpius and also have its own guns and a cargo vessel with tractor beams, that could be a really good pirate vessel.
Yeah. So there's still a lot up in the air, and this is, of course, all speculation. But if the information we have is accurate, there is a lot of interesting possibilities with a RSI Galaxy.
It does look like a mini Star Destroyer.
And that's probably one of the coolest things about this ship, is it is a space Dorito.
Yep.
We can see suggested in the hologram how amazing that would look if they gave it a orangish red paint job. But yeah, it's a small Star Destroyer. It's a really cool ship.
Yeah.
And it is currently a budget Carrack as well. Because the Carrack is the loaner for the RSI Galaxy. So if you do purchase an RSI Galaxy, you get a $600 ship as a loaner for your $400 ship.
That's nice.
That is an interesting value proposition. I never thought I'd say that getting a $400 ship is a bargain, but when they are putting the Carrack as its loaner, it does kind of push it into that realm.
They are definitely adding value with that.
Oh yeah. And since we do have an RSI Galaxy on lockdown now, and we have the loaner as a consequence. The USS Oddjob will now survive patch wipes.
Yay!
So once 3.18 hits and we can go explore all the new mechanics that are introduced there, we'll still have the USS Oddjob as a home base to come back to.
And when 4.0 hits and we start exploring Pyro, you'll be able to do it in a Carrack, which sounds like a great position to be in.
Oh yeah, definitely going to be well equipped compared to our other fellow citizens. Yeah, Oddjob Entertainment is sitting pretty right now.
Yeah.
Let's see, my character is again thirsty. Let's see. Didn't want to equip the model in the inventory, so I guess we'll just buy another one. Oh, okay, now it's in my hands.
Yeah, there's definitely a bit of delay here on the server side. For some reason, everyone wants to come to this planet on the server.
Yeah, who knows why, right? It's not like what's going on. IAE, maybe you've heard of it.
Oh yeah, there was that. Yeah,
That old thing.
they got a bunch of ships to look at for free that you can rent.
I know, right?
It's a pretty humble event, you know.
Yeah,
It's understated.
yeah. That's what it is. Oh hey, I left the party from my other group here, so I am ready to join up.
Can I
Nice.
send you an invite?
Yes, please. I'll join with you.
Okay, there you go.
Hold the stream as well. Thank you.
Yes.
Boom.
Gotta get those watch hours in.
Hold up. Did you join my server? Or did we just get lucky? Because I see your party markers, so I think I'm going to catch up.
Oh.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
I joined on Lance of Vader, but
Yeah.
that is convenient.
Yeah, we did not join on you. Oh no, I joined on you earlier,
No, but...
and then he
the
joined on
magic
me.
of you. No, don't ruin the magic of the moment. I'm going to do it.
It is the
was
cosmos.
Completely by coincidence, we could not have planned it better.
Yes. I just have to warn you about this server. I landed at the spaceport, and some monster has thrown picos in the trash cans, and they're squeaking in anger. So,
Oh
be
no.
careful.
Oh no.
Oh,
Oh shoot! We haven't checked out the side halls, have we?
No, there's one side hall at least. Come on, man, you got to see the aurora.
I know. Gotta check out the auroras.
And the second mantis in the halls. That's very important.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and the second mantis.
Which I feel like someone who is curating this event is racking their brain like, I've got this big space in the middle of this expo, or what can I put here? Click, drag, drop.
They could have put a galaxy hologram at like massive size that you could walk through and look at it.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, they typically don't do that with the holograms. They like to keep them in the hologram room. But that would be cool.
So,
Or honestly, they could have put the Scorpius back here, and that would have been a draw.
So I don't know if you knew this, but the auroras all have names.
They do.
So this one over here is Ellen.
Uh-huh.
This one here is Mary.
Mary, the MR.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, Mary. Ellen is the
This
LN.
is Alex.
Alex, yeah. She's a beaut. She's got leather seats.
Indeed, yep. I guess we should show off that part, right? Premium feature and all that.
Yeah.
Alex takes very good care of himself, slicks his hair back. a little bit
Squeezing.
awkward to climb into.
Yep, you just squeeze past it into the seat.
But pretty decent starter ships. As we talked about with Consolidated Outland, probably devalued in favor of the Mustang Alpha, but still a very good option.
Yeah, before they added the cargo functionality to the Mustang Alpha, this was the ship that I recommended as the starter.
Yeah.
It's a classic.
It is a classic.
And it does have kind of a hot rod look to it.
I wasn't going to say anything about the looks. No.
Sorry?
I wasn't going to say anything about the looks.
So somebody took a photo of an override, right? And they took it so they made the wings folded out like the Scorpius, and that changed the ship 100% for the better.
Yeah, and you know, when I first saw this, that was what I thought that these wings would do. Ollie was talking about this in his video, but I always thought that they would fold out, and then when they just stick to the side, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is Stir.
Esther,
Yeah, that one's kind of a stretch.
the SES. And is this Callie?
Yes, actually, this is Callie.
Great. The CL.
So now I can only hope that my streaming career takes off very suddenly, and those become the de facto names of the Aurora series.
Yep.
I could,
Disappointed. Let's do this.
that could be my contribution to Star Citizen.
We need the Aurora now.
All right, so now we have for sure covered all of RSI, right?
I think so.
Okay.
I think it was just this hull and the main one.
Yes. Okay. So we are good.
Yep.
So now it turns out my character is actually hungry. I don't think that it was thirst that I was looking at before, so I need to find him some food. Which has been a theme for me this week as well. I've been doing a new diet at the recommendation of my doctor, trying to bulk up. And he's got me doing 150 grams of protein every day.
Oh yeah. You told me about that. That's basically a chicken.
Yeah, it's a whole Costco chicken.
And
per
not
day.
not like a Cornish game hen either.
No. So, squeezing in 150 grams of protein is pretty tough. I feel like I'm just feeding this endless abyss of food.
It's gonna be pretty rough.
Yeah. Well, certainly gets that way if you're not doing some fiber supplements as well. If you know what I mean. But I can almost wolf down burritos as fast as my character now.
Nice.
That's the dream.
Yeah. But who'd have thought? You just have to be so desperate for protein that you just inhale them.
Now,
Well,
what
I
do you think?
am excited to get into. Sorry, what were you saying, Schlag?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say I am excited to run over to my RSI Scorpius. Let's see. Schlag is 15k out.
Yeah, I gotta get healed up. I got a little injured on the last thing I was doing. It
Ah.
involved drunken knife fights and things like that. Nothing major.
Why were you knife fighting with drunks?
Who are you talking to, Vader? This is Schlag.
They don't have anything. Come on, if you're gonna knife fight with somebody, at least make sure
look,
it's worth
Zen
your
from
while.
Board Gamers channel. The same armor she wears.
Oh yeah, it does look like.
Maybe it is.
Wouldn't that be funny? We just stumbled onto Board Gamers server.
That would be funny. That would definitely be funny.
So you're
Say hello, Zin. Hello, Zin.
Yeah. Do prompts comp. See if they say anything.
All right, let's test this out. Well, first off, can you hear me, Vader, in game if I'm using my proximity button?
I don't know.
All right.
Say that
let's
in your voice.
Say hello, Zin.
Come on.
Ah.
AFK. Nothing.
No, they just ran away now.
Oh god, they know who I am. Ah, jeez. They know.
They've been caught.
Hi. Hide in the hologram.
Yeah. All right, let's see. So if I go to the commons first, I can get some guns for my ship because I think it has the. I can't remember what I have it equipped with.
So I think there are the Quarrelers. They have Offices. They have Panthers. They got Badgers. They got it all.
Oh yeah, center mass. Center mass has it
Center
all.
Mass is great.
I just can't remember. Did I upgrade the weapons to size 3 or not?
Suppose you'll find
Okay,
out.
it looks like I did. So I've got Panthers on it.
Panthers are good guns.
Yes. I wish there were a directory that just easily showed the appearance of ship weapons, like in a list form. Like, I know I can get on Star Citizen Wiki and click through entries individually, but that's kind of tedious.
Are you looking for the ones?
Where I can just?
Are you looking for the ones that look like the ones on Luke's X-wing?
Yeah, like I just like to have an easier time of coordinating them.
The Quarrelers.
Quarrelers?
Yeah.
Those are cannons, right?
Yeah, they're cannons.
They are cannons.
If you want to fit the theme, it's more than worthy.
All right. Well, let's go get a couple Quarrelers then.
I know it's not perfectly meta.
Yeah. Well, but we are going after NPC targets, so we should be okay. Now, if only I could get 3 guns that look like R2-D2, or size 3 guns that look like R2-D2 for the turret.
So you just unequip the guns completely, see, and then it's just a little blob on top of the ship.
Okay,
You know what,
so just take the disadvantage.
Yeah, and then Lance can just look around and have no guns, but it's like R2 looking around.
And I can beep and boop at you.
There you go. That does sound like an interesting video idea. I think we should do that at some point.
Did you see the Star Citizen rendition of New Hope's first opening scenes?
Was that from Eradicator?
I don't know who it was from. I just saw it. So somebody did tried to do a re-rendition of the opening boarding scene of A New Hope with Star Citizen assets.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'll have to share it with you at some point.
Yeah. Let's see. Quarrelers. I also do like the FL-33s just because they look like chocolate bars to me.
Oh my gosh. They do look like chocolate bars, don't they?
And FL-33s are forever ruined for him now.
Sorry.
You're gonna walk out of center mass hungry every time now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, am I just blind? Am I just missing them?
That's the Quarreler.
They have the FL-33s here. I know they got some light strike weapons and stuff, but I don't know about.
It is a laser cannon.
Yeah, they've got them on display here.
Yep.
They're just to my right at the moment.
You should be able to buy it off the screen then, and typing in the search bar doesn't work.
There's a search bar?
They have a search bar now.
Yeah, you can narrow it out by G.
Yep.
Type it in.
Oh.
And just type in a Q. Coral or
there you
cannon.
go. All right, so I'll pick up 4 of those, and then I'll also get my chocolate bar guns. Oh, they only have the FL-22 here, it looks like. All right, I'll hold off on that then. Yeah, okay, so this is the FL-22 then. What's this one? Sucker Punch. That's the Quarreler. Okay.
Hi, good to have you back.
It's crazy to me to see all these weapon models and then look at the insane level of detail on each and every one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
We are so spoiled in Star Citizen in some ways. Not in every way, but in some ways.
Not in terms of things coming out quickly, but in terms of them coming out well, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so slap on some Quarrelers.
In terms of deadlines, we have no deadlines.
Yeah.
Deal. Huh.
All right. Shall we go kill some things?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go kill some things.
All right. So I'm thinking, since Lance has his constellation that he's acquired in game,
Mm-hmm.
Schlag, do you want to co-pilot with me in the Scorpius?
Yeah, I can do that.
And then between us 3 flying these ships, there's nothing we can't kill.
No, that's true. Though it would take a while to take down a hammerhead. We could do it.
Yep.
Oh, there we are.
So I was looking into the hangar size Schlag, and
Yeah.
we were talking about it earlier, you and I in Discord. It's listed as XS, and
Yeah.
then someone shared a document in the thread for the RSI Galaxy where apparently they referenced ships that are all quantified as XS,
Huh?
and on that list was the Prospector.
That is that's pretty interesting. That changes things quite a lot with that ship. Especially when
It
you got an
does.
onboard refinery.
Yeah. So you could do direct-to-consumer refining of Quantanium with your onboard prospector, send it off to do its thing, bring it back, do the refinery,